Hello, I'm Chris, and this is my rebuilding your Traxxas 2.5 or 3.3. These are cool little engines. They start up really easy, and I love them. So this is my first official build with new parts. I've taken apart a whole bunch of them and put them back together like this one. You have to do that to thoroughly inspect the bearings. If you want this job to go down smooth, you have to have a torch that makes a fire like that, or flame. I don't know what oil people are using to build these, but I've been putting a little bit of this, and we're just going to use this. All right, so I dip all this stuff in Barry McKim dip. It's going to release any gunk, and then you spray it with WD-40, and you hear that? That is a bad bearing. So grab it from the inner race and make sure that cage spins. Same thing, grab it from the outer race, make sure that cage spins. So WD-40 is not the lubricant we're using, but it does a real good job of making the noises or grinding amplified. So this one is good. All right, we just need a little bit. Just dump them in there. So you can go ahead and clean this outside off and the inside off a little bit. All right, so the first thing, let's get the bearings in there. A little vise works awesome. All right, so on your crankshaft, once again, Barry McKim dip. When these parts are all clean and nice, they should just kind of fit together because they're machine perfect. If you're having issues with anything fitting, you need to heat it up like we're about to do here. So if your bearings are new, you're going to take that little plastic shielding off on one side, and see right here, you can tap that in if you absolutely want to, but it's a million times better to heat it up. Just move around. This stuff heats up real fast. You're not trying to burn a hole through it. That's plenty right there. All right. All right, if it's being a little bit difficult, you can get something flat like that. Just give it a little tap. All right, then get down eye level with it. Find out which way is going in. That one was difficult. And yes, I had it heated up enough. All right, then you just look down, make sure it's in there. Good. So in case you have no idea, you get stuff hot so it expands, and cold makes it shrink. So if we heated this up a little bit, put this in the freezer for about an hour, it would just drop in there real easy. Neither one of these is heated or frozen, but they are machine perfect. So they should fit like that. So now we want to heat the block up because we want this bearing to drop in there. It's gonna get hot. Don't burn your hands. It should drop right in. There you go, drop right in. Give it a little push. Beautiful. That's it. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a drink of oil. Get down in there behind that bearing. And be careful, it's a hot boy.
You're not supposed to use that kind of oil.
Too late, it's been done already. Okay, so just be careful, it's hot. See how we can move it in and out. Make sure you pull it out and it's seated. As it cools down, it's gonna get tight again. So that is probably the hardest part, heating it up, getting the bearings in. All right, so this stuff is kind of expensive. $30 for this little thing. All right, so on the rod, see how that's kind of flat? And then the bearing has a little angle bevel. The bevel goes to the crank. So these things right here, man, you might want to go in a really well-lit white room if you have one, because those things will fly away and you will never, ever, ever find it. So look at this brand new sleeve. This is really beautiful looking stuff. $70, 70 for this right here. So you see the piston is in this one. We cannot see the little stringy Madoo wire in there, and the cutout is to the front of the engine. Ooh, where's the wrist pin? Do you have to reuse the wrist pin? What the hell? Damn, I was this close to throwing this away. Man, I wish I would have put this in Barry McKim dip. So cutout to the front, bevel to the crank, wrist pin goes in one way. The side with no clip gets the flat side of the wrist pin. Just get in there like that. Want to get some needle nose pliers that we can fit in that hole. This is like the size of a hair. It really is. And we're on a black carpet table. That's just, ah! That really just happened. Ah. Right, we're coming over here now. All right, so now if it falls, we have a better chance of seeing it. Okay, so So that's as close as I'm getting to the camera. We're gonna try to like spin it in there. So then you kind of put it in there and just kind of turn it and push a little bit. You'll hear it kind of click. And then just inspect it. Make sure it's in there correctly. Give it a little push on this side. Just look at it really, really close. I heard it click really good. Okay, give this little boy a drink. Okay, same thing down here with the rod. All right, so just make sure it's all lubed up. This goes back and forth. Crank up there at the top. Make sure the piston's in the right way. Figure out how to gently put it on there without forcing it. Okay, beautiful. Get it on that connecting rod. And be careful because we don't have the sleeve in there. So I'm going to go ahead and put the piston all the way down. So the sleeve has a little notch. And there's a little notch right there. So we have to line those up. See, like that. So maybe this is the hardest step because we're going to have to heat the block up. And we're going to have to guide this in there. And it's going to start getting hot. So we have the piston at its lowest position. Be very gentle. You don't want to bang anything up. So we're going to go ahead and put some 3-in-1 oil on the outside of this. It seems to work very good for me. Now remember, it's going to be hot. You will forget because you're trying to line that little notch at the same time you're trying to get that little piston in there without burning your hands. This little crank is hot. You come up a little bit. Come on. Okay. Come on. Okay, there we go. Once you have it seated in there, make sure you put oil. Push down. Make sure it's in there. And if this thing is not heated up, it's not going to work like you want it to. All right. Plenty of oil in there. Beautiful. Check that out. So first start spinning it back and forth like that. And then slowly get it to seat very carefully in that bore. Don't force it. So I would go ahead and get this piece on there next. Inspect that bushing, inspect the fit dry. Feels perfect. All right, so you can see where it's been riding. It really doesn't matter which side you put it back on. You want to get that crank farthest down position. 2 notches like that are going to go up. So we just need that up and down. And be gentle when you do this. Make sure the O-ring is in there. Just kind of snug them up. All right, just make sure everything feels right. Make sure that starter shaft is spinning. Go ahead and screw that down. All right, so I would just get them all snug at first. What are the torque specs? Just kind of tight, 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 and tight foot-pounds. Okay, so this thing is so tight it doesn't even want to go a full revolution. All right, it's a little carburetor gasket. Make sure it's in there. Okay, get it started on the screw side first, or it's going to be super hard to get in there. Okay, then get a carburetor, just kind of make sure it's in there right. All right, little head gasket. Okay, so the head can go in there whichever way. You're just trying to line the holes up and the fins up. Yep, that's it right there. Dude, I think this one has a strip head screw. It sure does have a stripped head screw. I don't understand why this cone is being so difficult. Okay, there it goes. Flywheel, little nut. I've been finding these little nuts right here so freaking tight, it makes no sense. They need to be tight, but don't have to go super crazy. So counterclockwise. Oh, see, that's a super tight fit. All right, so that's why they want that break-in procedure, because this thing is super tight. Has this like click when it hits top dead center. All right, so we need to check that head and make sure it's not leaking. We're just gonna have to put a glow plug in there and make sure it has plenty of compression, which I believe it does, or will. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, see that? It's sealed. So lesson in the video, check your head bolt screws. So this came on a T-Max that was locked up. The guy did a buyback program. He did not touch those head bolts in any way. He didn't touch anything on this engine. And you see it was stripped. That was from the factory. I guarantee you. Super tight. All right, so there you go. Now we have 2 ready to go engines. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.